Good morning and welcome to Australia Day 2022. My name's Susan Wade and I will be your MC for this morning's event. Before we get started, I would like to invite Lewis Burns to the stage to do a welcome to country.
Good morning everyone, my name's Lewis Burns and I've been here since, been here time, and my mob been on this country since Oxley went through. I can prove that. But anyway, I've been given the honour to come down and welcome you all onto country today as an official welcome. And I know that one of my election policies, I got onto council, don't forget that. One of my election policies is unity. So, I'm trying to bring the community together, and if you want to say it, you got to do it. So I'm here to represent the Aboriginal community today, and I thank you all for letting me come down to welcome you. So I'm going to do the I won't do the official one. I'm going to do the traditional welcome to country today in the native tongue of the Dubbo Wiradjuri people. So without further ado, through the mother, Makatan Nadjang Maranyanyini Nanamang Dubbo Wiradjuri Wile Wiradjuri Manga Wiradjuri. It simply means on behalf of the Dubbo people of the Wiradjuri nation, we welcome you onto a country today, and we hope that you have a really good outcomes and really good day. So welcome everybody. Have a fantastic day.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with gold and soil and wealth fertile. Our home is God by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyous strains, and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, Charlotte. I would like to now introduce you to the members of the official party that are seated here today. We have the Mayor of Dubbo Regional Council, Councillor Matthew Dickerson. We have Councillor Josh Black, Councillor Lewis Burns, Councillor Shepney Chowdhury, Councillor Vicky Etheridge, Councillor Jessica Goff, Councillor Pam Wells. We have Council's Chief Executive Officer Murray Wood, Australia Day Ambassador Lindley Milan. We have the Acting Commissioner for Central Western Police Force, Daniel Sullivan, Acting Superintendent Paul Stevens for New South Wales Police Force. We have the Australia Day Committee, Tom Gray, Jeff Mann, Bill Greenwood and Rhonda Bramble. Mike Herbert, who's also on the committee, is attending the Wellington event. We have former mayors and councillors with us here today, and we also have John Mason, who was the member for Dubbo for about 19 years, many years ago, so welcome to all of you. I would now like to call on the Mayor to do his welcome.
The love of field and coppice, of green and shaded lanes, of ordered woods and gardens is running through your veins. Strong love of grey-blue distance, brown streams and soft dim skies. I know but cannot share it. My love is otherwise. I love a sunburnt country, a land of sweeping plains, of ragged mountain ranges, of droughts and flooding rains. I love her far horizons, I love her jewel sea, her beauty and her terror, the wide brown land for me. A stark white ringbark forest, all tragic to the moon, the sapphire misted mountains, the hot gold hush of noon. Green tangle of the brushes, where lithe thyandras coil, and orchids deck the treetops and ferns the warm dark soil. Core of my heart, my country, her pitiless blue sky, when sick at heart around us we see the cattle die. But then the grey clouds gather, and we can bless again the drumming of an army, the steady soaking rain. Core of my heart, my country, land of the rainbow gold, for flood and fire and famine she pays us back threefold. over the thirsty paddocks. Watch, after many days, the filmy veil of greenness that thickens as we gaze. An opal-hearted country, a beautiful lovely land. All you who have not loved her, you will not understand. Though earth holds many splendours, wherever I may die, I know to what brown country my homing thoughts will fly. Welcome, Dubbo, to Australia Day 2022. And thank you, Susan, for welcoming all our official guests. But I want to make particular welcome to our councillors. We've got a group of new councillors, and it's great to see some former councillors and some former mayors and councillors here today as well. I picked that particular poem today for two particular reasons. And that was written 118 years ago by Dorothea McKellar as a 19-year-old, missing Australia terribly while in London. And she was frustrated that she couldn't explain to people how wonderful Australia was, hence that poem, which has got some of those famous lines in poetry in Australia. And so one of the reasons I love that poem is it does describe with some beautiful imagery the Australia that we know, the harsh landscapes, the beautiful landscapes, the things that are wonderful about Australia. But there's also something that Dorothea missed. Far be it for me to tell Dorothea she should have done a better poem, but there's one thing that Dorothea missed in that poem. The one thing that makes Australia even better than the wonderful landscape. And that's you and I and all of us. The people in this nation are what makes this nation wonderful. Now, some of us, like Pam and Lewis, have got a 60,000-year history in this country. Some of us, like Shibley, one of our councillors, has got a 12 or 13-year history in this nation. We'll have some people that have been made citizens today that have had a very short history in this nation, but it doesn't matter because as Aussies, we all welcome everyone to come to this nation where we have a wonderful democracy, an open and free society. You don't get persecuted for your religion or your religious beliefs or for even what sporting team you might follow. We welcome everyone to come along to this nation. And of the people here in this nation, we've got 230 different nationalities that have come and called this country home. 25% of the people who reside in this nation at the moment were born overseas, but we welcome them all. And that's the thing, as wonderful as our landscape is, as wonderful as our country is, that's the thing to me that I'm proudest of in Australia, that we welcome people from all over the world. And we've got a history that we're working on to try and do better in terms of the Aboriginal background that we've had in this nation, and we haven't got that right yet, but we're working on it. And what I really like to look at is our future, the future that we have together as a nation. And I thought it was great when Lewis mentioned unity, because that's my dream as well, that we have a unified nation. We have an absolutely fantastic nation, and when you travel around the world and talk to people, especially Australians, they all talk about the Aussies back home, the people that are back home. So that's the thing that I think is the significant thing about this day. It's about recognition. It's about recognition of what we have here in this nation, and what we have here is pretty special. So when you go about your day today, after you finish this ceremony and you have some of the free sausages on offer and you maybe go into the pool, all I ask of you is to think about this nation and hopefully be proud today of being a part of this wonderful nation. Have an absolutely wonderful Australia Day, everyone. Thank you very much.
So Mayor, Councillor Matthew Dickerson, councillors present today, Murray Wood, Chief Executive Officer of Dubbo Regional Council, members of the Dubbo community and others who are visiting today, as I am, to reflect, respect and celebrate, as we are all, as Matthew said, we are all part of the story of Australia. Thank you, Lewis, for your welcome to country, and with your corrections, I acknowledge the Tubbo people of the Wiradjuri Nation, traditional custodians of this land where we come together. I pay respect to their elders, past, present and emerging, and to their culture, and to the fantastic Indigenous food that you guys discovered a long time before any of us did. So thanks for having not only me, but my friend Averill. It was really lovely to try the food at Royal Indian Restaurant last night and meet the Mayor and Deputy Mayor. And isn't that such a great example of what multiculturalism has done for this country of ours? I'm one of over 100 ambassadors joining in community celebrations today all over New South Wales. Now, it's really great to be here, because you are surrounded by agriculture, which is very close to my heart. You've got cattle, sheep and crops, and you not only distribute in Australia, but you export, and 20% of the state's sweet corn production. But I always ask to go to regional Australia every year because nowhere do I feel so connected to the land as I do in regional areas. And importantly, what it produces. Even though, as the Mayor was very insistent on reinforcing last night, you are, of course, a city as well. And you've got an amazing infrastructure, and you've got, there's an economy with health, education, retail and commerce. And I found out this morning volunteers. I found out that Dubbo is a great place for volunteers, and there's a waiting list for people to be able to volunteer for the park run. That is extraordinary. A lot of other places, it's the other way around. But what is regionality? It's a package, and it's as much about local pride and the skills of the people who reside in the area as it is about produce, cooking techniques or language. So while we can celebrate our sameness, we can celebrate our differences too. Australia Day is not only cause for celebration, but also for contemplation on what it means to be Australian, our achievements, but also our failings, what makes us unique, where we're headed and our role internationally. The last 2 years have been extraordinarily challenging, both personally and professionally for many of us. And let's also spare a thought for those who face danger daily, including volunteers who respond to flood, fire, the incredible flying doctor service, and first responders and frontline workers facing the COVID pandemic. Our continent is the only one inhabited by a single nation, so we have a better chance of managing our natural resources sustainably than anywhere else in the world. Our history's been extraordinary, as we've witnessed profound changes from the traditional Indigenous culture of 65,000 years ago to becoming a convict settlement, then to progress to an enviable standard of living today. And today is a pertinent time for Australia Day awards to be presented to those who work tirelessly within this community. And I can't wait to hear the citations. And I salute you all. You're the ones who've made a difference. You're the unsung heroes, often working quietly behind the scenes. And you are the true Australian achievers. And it's the resilience of communities and their willingness to help and give that defines the Australian spirit. We need to make sure that future generations feel just as proud and fortunate as we do to be Australian. The future of our country depends on every individual. And we can all make our mark and a difference. We may face drought, floods, bushfire and other hardships, but invariably Australians get by with a curse, a joke and a song. And what great songs and music traditions we have, and we've heard some from the band this morning. And of course there's ones by John Williamson, Slim Dusty, The Seekers, and my very favourite is Bruce Woodley's I Am Australian, which I recall vividly from my daughter's days as leader of the Australian Girls Choir, and I did sing very quietly under my breath over there. Thank you for playing that. And of course Peter Allen's I Still Call Australia Home. Now I think Matthew stole my speech because there's a lot of similar theme here, and I was also going to quote Dorothea McKellar, because when I went to school we learnt that poem off by heart as well, and it's very well worth repeating, so thank you for that wonderful rendition. But this Australia Day, our theme is reflect, respect, celebrate. We're all part of the story. We're a nation of stories and each of us has our own tales. So what's mine? I'm a 5th generation Australian, and while the area in which I have made my name is food and wine, it's actually something we all have in common, because 100% of Australians eat. Now, thank you. I always knew I was Australian and was brought up to be very proud of it. My parents were conservative, disciplined, but accepting of all, full of fun and great entertainers. They lived the hospitality of the table. There was always room for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around our family dinner table. Guests came from overseas, they had Christmas parties, mum cooked. This was the era of meat and 3 veg, and chicken was for birthdays and very special occasions. Roast lamb was put in the oven before we went to church on Sundays, and I want you to know, by the way, time we got home, it was very well cooked because my mother loved a natter. And the leftovers, if there were any, were made into sweet lamb curry on Monday nights. Salad dressing was made from condensed milk, lettuce was iceberg, and pavlova, the celebratory dessert. But then came the adventurous 60s, and on occasion we would eat Chinese, and I noticed several Chinese restaurants here. We'd have then, back in those days, chicken and almond and bright orange sweet and sour pork. And then my mother started cooking something called spaghetti. It was my first exposure to multiculturalism. My parents then travelled overseas and brought back stories of foreign countries and cuisines. So I began cooking when I was 16, and I read this ingredient in this recipe, and it was called olive oil. Well, I had to go to the chemist, and I got it a little specimen bottle. But then I saved up my money to buy a book. Now, what book do you think it might have been in the 60s? I bet a lot of you have got it. No? Margaret Fulton Cookbook. Absolutely. And we have so much to thank successive waves of migrants and the enthusiasm of Australians for travel for what they've contributed to our food styles today. So this is what shaped who I am and what I do today, though the path was not simple. Bright girls did not go into food as a career, no. We had to take advantage of the progress of our liberated elder sisters had made for us, so off to uni I went, not to NIDA or art school, which I would have liked, but I just found a roundabout way of becoming a performer, though I began as an art teacher and moved back via advertising in London and Sydney, and finally to food back in Australia. Now, I absolutely loved living and travelling overseas, but when it was time for me to start a family, there was no question where that should be. And that was when I consciously chose to become Australian, like those who are becoming citizens today. For freedom of choice is something this country holds very dear. We live in a democracy where we can openly criticise others and disagree with our government. But rights bring responsibilities. It's a two-way street. So it's the ideas, beliefs and customs that people maintain, however diverse, that makes us Australian. We all have our own stories. So Australia Day means different things to different people, but we can celebrate them all. Our people, our land, diversity, a fair go, Indigenous and other cultures, and freedom of speech. It's both our diversity and evolution as a people and peaceful coexistence as a nation which defines us, and that is something we need to be very careful to preserve. Australia was a multicultural country even before white settlement, with more than 500 Aboriginal nations across the continent. Since then, Australia has been settled by migrants from over 200 countries and 175 in New South Wales, but I think your numbers are more recent than mine. But the Australian character, built through hardship and enriched with multiculturalism, is what makes us who we are. It is the delightful irreverence of this character, along with the natural resources of this great land of ours, and the contribution of successive waves of migrants, which has allowed us to develop a first-class reputation for food and wine. I first got into food and wine professionally when I started a catering business in the early 80s after my son was born. I ended up with 2 partners in a cafe. I started reviewing for the Sydney Morning Herald Good Food Guide in 1987 and got my first spot on radio soon after. Around 1990, I wrote my first article and made my first TV appearance. As the media work gradually increased, I was able to conversely decrease the catering, and with hard work, a lot of hard work, developed a flourishing freelance career before becoming food director of the iconic Australian Women's Weekly. As well as overseeing a 30-page food section every month and a new website, I co-hosted Fresh, a daily TV show for 8 years on the Nine Network, and also appeared on Christmas and other TV specials. And I also cooked on a road train which went around Australia. However, with both my kids grown up and overseas, after nearly a decade at the Weekly, it was time to reinvent myself again. So with my late partner John, we founded Flame Media, a TV production company and distribution business which sells our TV programs and those produced by others around the world. And we also built Australia's only purpose-built TV studio kitchen. So as Matthew said, I've written 9 books and hosted 9 TV series. Most importantly for me, the 16-part series, Lindy Milan's Taste of Australia. I travelled Australia, celebrating not only the food and wine producers and characters, but what is essentially different in each area. I cooked with Rick Stein, I hooked up with Heston in the Margaret River, as well as mud crabbing with an Indigenous boy south of Broome, and I was Australia Day Ambassador in Nundle. I'm really proud to say that that TV series won Best Food TV at the 2016 Gourmand World Awards, and the book of the same name won Best TV Chef Cookbook. And at the Frankfurt Book Awards was named 3rd in the best of the best for the last 20 years. Now that's an accolade, I believe, not for me, but for all of Australia's primary producers. All the characters, all the producers, all the farmers, all the winemakers, all the wonderful, crazy Aussies that appeared in that show. So I was brought up to give back and make a difference. I'm very proud of the work we do at the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales, where I was the first female vice president, striving to ensure that farmers, growers and producers receive the accolades they deserve through Sydney Royal competitions such as Fine Foods, which we founded in 1997, wine, dairy, beer and cider competitions. If you go on the website Australia's Best Producers, you'll find that a consistent medal winner year after year from Dubbo is the Little Big Dairy Company for a whole range of their milks and creams. And there's even Sophia, the coffee bean roasting house. Look out for Sydney Royal medals on their products and support them. They're local stars. So apart from many charities, I'm patron and founder of Tasting Success, which is a mentoring program for female chefs, which we've run through TAFE. Since 2007, we've matched top chefs with female trainees to encourage them to stay in the industry and become tomorrow's role models and leaders. I'm also on the Food and Wine Advisory Panel for Tourism Australia, helping tell the world what a vibrant culinary destination this is. And today is also a very special day for me, as it's exactly 8 years since I was honoured with an Order of Australia for service to hospitality, food and wine and the community. But I also believe in reconciliation through food. Firstly, within the family. Sit down over dinner, eat and talk. No mobile phones, no TV, no remote control. Use Australia's fabulous raw produce, like what you have available here, to cook meals for family and friends, no matter how simple. And you'll really reap physical and psychological benefits. And this is what I really try to do through my media work, to show Australians how really easy it is to use our wonderful produce, which is both accessible and affordable. Our food supplies, like going to the beach, going for a bushwalk, or today's celebrations, are not elitist. They are available to all Australians. Food can also help us understand the wider community. For Australia's changed immensely, even just in my lifetime. Think of how we eat. How can you hate someone when you love the food of their culture? It's the beginning of understanding them and what their culture means, whether it's Indigenous, Indian, Asian, Middle Eastern, or whatever. We cook in woks as well as on barbecues. We're just as likely to eat sushi, noodles, or a curry as a meat pie. At last, chefs are celebrating native foods. We've come a very long way since the meat and 3 veg of my youth. I recall the wonderful and riotous times I've spent with my children, families, and friends at the dining table. And on this theme of making a difference too, most especially today, I'd like to acknowledge my son Blair, who 19 years ago was my companion on my very first Australia Day ambassadorship in 2003. He was so proud. He did a lot for charity and he loved being Australian. But his life was tragically cut short nearly 11 years ago. But I know he made his mark. And I'm really proud of our TV show, Lindy and Blair's Taste of Greece, and the companion book. Recently, we've re-edited previously unseen footage to make a different series, Greece with My Son. And though it's proved popular overseas, I can't get any TV network in Australia to take it, Channel 7 over there. Now, I ensured my children knew their national anthem, and I requested that we had the second verse. And I was very hard not to sing, but in it we say, "For those who come across the seas with boundless plains to share," so that through the community and fellowship of the table, we can make this a reality. And then truly, may all Australians advance Australia fair. Happy birthday, Australia. Thank you, Dubbo, for hosting me. And thank you to all of you for listening.
The first award to be presented today is the Cultural Person of the Year Award. It's the tireless dedication to the Dubbo cultural scene, along with various other volunteer roles, that makes this recipient a worthy winner of the 2022 Cultural Person of the Year Award. This person is the current president of the volunteer group SOMAD, Songwriters and Original Musicians Association of Dubbo. In this role, he spearheaded efforts to boost original and live music in general for several years in Dubbo. He is not only the president and treasurer of SOMAD, a significant organisation in the cultural development of the city of Dubbo, but key in their operations, including event management, sound and lights, and organisational promotion. He designs many of the posters that builds relationships with venues and government staff, and through these events gives opportunities to many young and emerging musical artists. He's the event coordinator for the Under the Western Skies Music Festival, our own homegrown music festival from 2019 to 2021. In addition to his work and achievements as part of SOMAD, he is also on the board for the Dubbo Conservatorium of Music, a talented local musical artist heading up the bands Civil Hands and The Exchange, involved with the Dream Festival, including running several events such as Zoocoustic and assisting with marketing of the event. And as a volunteer, he is an excellent asset to our city, but also a cultural practitioner. His band Civil Hands released an LP in 2021, Skylines Fall, which won several awards at the Dubbo Original Music Awards in 2021, including Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Film Clip of the Year. It's a great honour to present this award to Mr. Fred Randall. The next award to be presented today is Services to Sport. It's the tireless dedication and contribution made by this person to Dubbo's Croquet Club that makes him a worthy recipient of the 2022 Services to Sport Award. This person has been a valuable member of the Croquet Club and has dedicated his time within the club as a committee member for 13 years. Over this time, he has held various positions on the committee, such as Secretary, President, and Treasurer. He was the convener of the grant applications to move the club from the old croquet courts to their new home in Mulla Park. He was the coordinator of the club's 100-year celebration with a detailed history of the early years on display boards. He managed the project to the installation of the new synthetic surface, which also include clearing of the surface area, court design, hoops, artificial surface selection, lighting and shaded seating. He is also proactive in enhancing player skills and introducing new members to the club. The sound position of the club and the sport in Dubbo is due in no small part to this person's dedication, and that is why he is such a deserving recipient of the 2022 Services to Sport Award. It's a great honour to present this award to Mr. Peter Haywood.
I'm very surprised and humbled to receive this award. As a member of the Croquet Club, I just felt that I was participating as a person in the club. I enjoyed the sport, so I got in and had a go. We hit a major crisis 3 years ago when our whole club facility was taken from us with the closure of the Dubbo City Bowling Club. Our dilemma was, where do we go? And how do we fund it? We and the members of our club hit a major crisis because this looked like losing croquet to Western New South Wales, certainly to Dubbo. However, we all got in, had a bit of a go, and as you've heard, we've got new premises, we've got new surfaces. We now play on a synthetic surface, which was strange to us because we've always played on lawns, and we're going from strength to strength. I'm certainly I'm very pleased to receive this award, honoured to receive it, and I accept it on behalf of the Dubbo City Croquet Club and its members. Thanks.
Congratulations, Peter. The next award to be presented today is the Young Sportsperson of the Year. It's the tireless dedication and contribution made by this person to the sport of cycling that makes this recipient a worthy winner of the 2022 Young Sportsperson of the Year award. This person is rapidly developing into one of the best of the current crop of Dubbo cyclists, cementing his place with a group of riders that regularly win gold at the national level. He has been specialising in longer duration track races and road, taking gold in the state points race in early 2020 and winning the Tolan Classic at Wagga Wagga in 2019. They were the bigger indicators of bigger things to come. At Wagga Wagga, not only did he take out the under-19s, he was first across the line beating elite athletes. On top of this, he backed up the next day and came third in the 70k event, True Grit. His opportunities to perform were severely limited in 2020 due to COVID-19, and he was extremely unfortunate to break his hand at the National Track Championships in December 2020, after leading New South Wales to bronze in the team pursuit. For many riders, the combination of these unforeseen events may have ended their careers. However, he bounced back and 2 months later was dominating the New South Wales Under-19 State Championships at Dunk Grey Velodrome, taking gold in the, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, Omnium Pursuit and the team sprint, and silver in the time trial. He then carried this red-hot form to the National Track Championships in Brisbane in March 2021, taking gold in the scratch race and silver in the time trial. His commitment to training is outstanding, and his tenacious ambition on the bikes belies his humble and quiet attitude off the track. He's also a team player and has a reputation for digging deep when the team is under pressure, pulling superhuman efforts to get his team back into medal contention, and then being able to back up event after event. He is an extremely motivated and hard-working cyclist, and it is his dedication to his sport that makes him a very deserving recipient of the Young Sportsperson of the Year award. It's my great honour to present this award to Dylan Ether. The next award to be presented today is the Sportsperson of the Year award. It's the tireless dedication and contribution made by this person to the sport of touch football that makes this recipient a worthy winner of the 2022 Sportsperson of the Year award. This person has had an outstanding 2021 in the sport of touch football. She was a member of the successful Hunter Western Hornets women's 40s team who competed at the National Touch League in Coffs Harbour in March 2021. Her team defeated the Sydney Scorpions 5-4 in the final, with this person playing strongly and being named player of the final. In June 2021, she represented New South Wales and excelled in her first State of Origin touch football experience. She starred for the New South Wales women's 40 side at Coffs Harbour, helping the Blues to an overall series win over Queensland. Her efforts in the 2-1 series win were recognised with Player of the Series prize, but she was quick to praise her teammates for their efforts rather than her own. As well as her own successes in the representative arena, she is also an active and valued member of the Dubbo Touch Association, coaching the under-12 girls representative team, guiding and mentoring junior players in the senior competitions. For the above reasons and her commitment to her sport of touch football makes her a very deserving recipient of the Sportsperson of the Year Award 2022. It's a great honour to present this award to Miss Rachel, also known as Shelley Darcy. The next award to be presented today is the Young Citizen of the Year. It's the tireless dedication and contribution to her community that makes this recipient a worthy winner of the 2022 Young Citizen of the Year award. This person has had a tremendous year of supporting the community and representing regional youth. A proud descendant of the Wurundjeri Nation with family connection to the Wiradjuri Nation, her dream is to see the young people she works with and advocates for achieve their goals and aspirations. She is the first in her family to complete a university degree and recently completed her studies of Bachelor of Community and Social Development for Indigenous communities. She started volunteering at Apollo House and assisting with skill builders after-school activities. She instantly fitted in and was welcomed by the community and adored by all the kids and her peers alike. She's a talented painter and has helped the kids create community murals for NAIDOC Day, and another that was recently on display at the Western Plains Cultural Centre, with a simple but important message: let's grow our kids, our community. She can often be found strolling the Dubbo River Walk early in the morning, walking alongside young people experiencing complex mental health issues. During the recent COVID-19 crisis in Dubbo, she quickly rolled up her sleeves to support the community, especially those living in Apollo Estate. She developed kids packs to keep the kids busy in lockdown and volunteered her time on the weekends to complete a mobile testing unit with New South Wales Health, committed to running a pop-up vaccination clinic at Apollo House, and started a 24-hour social media platform so young people could always have someone to talk to. She also baked home-cooked meals and delivered these to people in isolation. She was appointed as a member of the New South Wales 2021 Regional Youth Task Force, where she represented Central West and Arana region with 17 other members from across regional New South Wales. She has a relentless desire to help kids lead life of purpose. She truly is humble and quietly works away to change the lives of kids having a tough time. It is this incredible commitment to young people in her community and her own achievements that make her a very deserving recipient of the 2022 Young Citizen of the Year award. It's a great honour to present this award to Taj Fowler.
Hey everyone, I just want to, it's such an honour to receive this award, and I just want to thank our community. I just want to thank Joe and the Apollo House crew for nominating me. I want to thank my family for being my rock and my support system, but I particularly want to thank the young people whose lives I'm a part of and who really this award is about. They're the leaders of tomorrow, and I am so blessed and so lucky to be a part of their lives. And it takes a community to raise a child, and I'm just one little small part, and so blessed to be a part of their lives and help them grow. So thank you.
The next award to be presented today is the Senior Citizen of the Year. It's the tireless dedication and contribution made by this person to her community that makes this recipient a worthy winner of the 2022 Senior Citizen of the Year award. This person has been integral in the development and enhancement of the Wayland Community Garden for the past 4 years and has helped to develop it into a space that is inclusive and accessible for all. Over the past 4 years, the garden has transformed from a bare paddock to a thriving, visually spectacular, organic community garden. Part of her varied roles is recruiting volunteers, which she does through her community and social service networks. The Community Garden is an approved community service agent for Corrective Services New South Wales Community Service Scheme. She is a certified volunteer supervisor for the gardens and is responsible for the supervision of offenders who are required to complete community service hours as part of their sentence. She has built a great rapport with these participants. She was a big proponent of treating everyone as an equal and with respect, no matter what their past. She knew that being out in the sun, physical activity, completing projects and receiving acknowledgement and praise would improve the self-esteem and mental health of the participants. The Clontarf Foundation and PCYC also bring their clients to the garden to engage and share in the delight and education of growing and enjoying real food. Peppercorn Daycare Centre also bring their children to experience the garden. They pull out endless supplies of carrots, which they enjoy crunching on while running around and playing outdoors in the garden. Not only is she a great coordinator and motivator, she's also very hands-on. She's involved in designing garden beds, planting, weeding, watering, mowing, spreading mulch and compost with her team of volunteers. She's also been involved with the new Wellbeing Garden at the Western Cancer Centre at Dubbo Base Hospital, which has been receiving wonderful feedback. When you meet her, you immediately feel at ease because of her friendly, pragmatic and authentic approach. And it is this and her dedication in helping people from all backgrounds that makes her a very deserving recipient of the 2022 Senior Citizen of the Year. It's a great honour to present this award to Faye Angel.
Thank you so much. This is way out of my comfort zone. Thank you so very much for the huge honour of this award. Thank you to those teammates who nominated me. Certainly very humbling. This award isn't just about me, it's about all of the amazing volunteers whom I've worked with in South Australia and now in Dubbo. Fine Australians who quietly work for the benefit of their community, often without recognition for their efforts. And congratulations to all of those who have been nominated and to the recipients of all of the Australia Day Awards here today. Thank you very much.
The final award to be presented today will be the Citizen of the Year. It's the tireless dedication and contribution made by this person to his community and the health of inland rivers and waterways that makes this recipient a worthy winner of the 2022 Citizen of the Year Award. This person's volunteer work started with a single raffle down the main street of Dubbo and has now grown into an incredible organisation that has bettered the lives and opportunities for thousands of people in central western New South Wales. For over a decade, he has not only raised an incredible amount of money for the Dubbo community and region, but he has made a huge impact on the health of the inland rivers and waterways, significantly enhanced recreational fishing opportunities and generated immeasurable positive social outcomes for people residing in Dubbo and Central West New South Wales. He has founded the Volunteer Recreational Fishing Group, the Inland Waterways Rejuvenation Association, IRA. And in his position as the volunteer president, he has established a strong volunteer committee of like-minded recreational fishers that have conducted numerous high-profile fundraising activities. The group has hosted the not-for-profit Lake Burrendong Fishing Classic fundraiser for 9 years, engaging over 15,000 recreational anglers since 2010. This event alone has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, which has all been put back towards improving river health in Dubbo and across New South Wales. He has organised the release of hundreds of thousands of native Murray cod and yellowbelly into the region's waterways through dollar-for-dollar restocking. He has actively campaigned to open fish passage in the region to create better breeding opportunities for the native Murray cod, yellowbelly and the endangered trout cod in the region's waterways. He's also the co-founder of the River Repair Bus Work for the Dole project that has been working to restore large stretches of the Macquarie River for the past 4 years. The IRA group contributed almost $60,000 in cash to purchase a 12-seater bus and a heavy-duty river repair trailer. This group alone planted 7,000 native trees and removed over 300 trailer loads of rubbish from the banks of the Macquarie River in Wellington, Dubbo and Narromine districts. There's so much more to this person's community activities, but way too many to mention today. It is wide-ranging involvement and significant contributions over the past decade that makes him an extremely worthy recipient of the 2022 Citizen of the Year Award. It's a great honour to present this award to Matthew Hansen.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm shaking, honestly, but to our Mayor, Matthew, our newly elected Dubbo councillors, the Dubbo Regional Council team, Murray Wood, your team, Susie, thank you very much for organising today, and to all my Wiradjuri mates, elders past, present and emerging, welcome. And it's just so good to be here with you all today. It's an honour to be standing here in the heart of the city where just over 13 years ago I started there with a bloke who's been on this stage before, Eagle O'Neill. The very first Engel fridge full of fishing lures that kicked this whole whirlwind off. The local fishing shop wasn't known as BCF back then. It was known as Explore Outdoors. It was a very different time, and the first Engel fridge went on my credit card. And in all honesty, my girlfriend back then, who's now my wife, was very relieved when that raffle scraped it in to pay the fridge off the credit card for a start. But then with the help from the guys from the Garden Hotel Fishing Club and a very special friend of mine, Mick O'Neill, the co-founder of Inland Waterways, that raffle raised $16,000 on top of that in a matter of weeks. And it was evident that Dubbo was just really happy to see something positive happening for the river. People were just shelling out the redbacks, the pineapples. We'd take the fridge up and down the street on a Bunnings trolley, and people were just so happy to know that they were putting something back into the river. Not long after that, the Lake Burrendong Easter Fishing Classic was born. It was a different time back then, 13 years ago. Eagle had a fair bit more hair. I was a skinny uni student at Charles Sturt University, living week to week on 2-minute noodles. Got a couple of recipes I can show you as well. But long before I'd decided on a career in real estate. Our first river clean-up was alarming. It saw drum nets removed right here in the centre of the CBD, and every single snag that was an opportunity to catch a Murray cod with a set line or a dropper had an abandoned rubber on it. Big Murray cod didn't go in the phone photos, they went on the clothesline, and that's the way it was. It was a different time. People kept everything that they caught, including me. But then we set about making a few changes. We started out stocking fingerlings with the money that we'd raised, and after the first 6 or 7 years of fundraising and 5 Burrendong Classics later, not only were we pulling in huge coin as a volunteer committee, huge sponsorships and huge crowds, but our little group of volunteers had managed to put in about 150,000 fingerlings in the river. The money just rolled. People were just so happy to be going to a fishing competition that wasn't just a fishing competition. It was a fishing competition that put everything back into the local waterways. I was recently asked by a journalist what is my proudest achievement. And well, as a young green fishing journalist, I made the decision to write about some really tough issues that weren't being voiced, like illegal fishing. Undersized, illegally caught Murray cod were being caught and sold through a local restaurant, and it was common practice. And writing about those issues head first, young and green, cost me 13 slash tyres, some illegal fishers throwing drum nets on my lawn in the middle of the night, fights at the pub, you name it. It was tough. It was scary, particularly for Tina, but we got through it. And it's just so interesting to watch the journey of going full circle now that we look back, that after the war with illegal fishing, the guys who were actually doing that to me took up places on our Work for the Dole, positions on the river repair bus, and started helping us plant trees and fix the river. So talk about full circle, from slashing your tyres to helping repair the river hand in hand. After we started restocking huge amounts of fingerlings, we moved to get the fish breeding on their own. Right here in the Macquaries, we learnt that it truly is habitat that makes fish happen. It's not band-aid solutions like restocking where you just tip fingerlings in the river. You need good pasture in a paddock for good farm animals. It's just the same in the river. If there's no food and there's no habitat, then the fish just simply don't do well. So between 2013 and 2018, with the help of a lot of the volunteers who are here in the crowd today, who I really have to acknowledge, who have all been on this journey, they got $150,000 worth of snags in the river. Then came the river repair bus Work for the Dole projects, where they raised $60,000 at the Easter Lake Burrendong Classic, bought the bus and trailer, and it's just so exciting to announce now that there's not one river repair bus in New South Wales, there's now 3. So there's also now one in Mildura. They saw the idea on the banks here of the Macquarie, and it was funded. They coughed up $500,000 straight away. They loved the idea. And then came another one at Moree just recently. So our little idea from Dubbo that sprung out of that little can-do community grew into now 3 river repair buses and a legacy that was born right here on the banks of the Macquarie River. It's something that all you volunteers who have sat alongside me can be so ultra proud of, that you've started a real movement right across the Murray-Darling Basin now. We've given away a couple of $100,000 worth of community-driven prizes, 9 boats, half a dozen new cars, and there was even a trip to Canada to speak at the World Recreational Fishing Conference, where we got to tell our little story about old Dubbo and what we've done here to repair the river. The honour for a volunteer committee, so many of you here today, doesn't get much greater than that. I'd just like to thank our IWRA Super Administration Officer Alison Harlan for nominating me, and I'd like to thank some people who have made this journey with me, Tina and my kids. Thanks for putting up with me on this roller coaster. I could not do it without you, and thank you for not only being the most patient woman clearly in Dubbo, but clearly on the planet, because you're still here and you're still with me. Also, a huge thanks to Mum, my sister, and the Johns, a couple of blokes who I met when I rolled into Dubbo here 15 years ago, Johnny Ryan and John Walkham, in your roles as councillors, senior members in the community, Regional Development Australia, and most importantly as a mate. I thank you for your guidance. The Dubbo New South Wales Fisheries team, Rodney Price, Sam Davis and Brett Smith, we wouldn't be here without you, and we wouldn't be here without Craig Copeland from Ozfish either. I'd like to thank sincerely not only all the generous sponsors over a decade and a half of doing this, but every person who has supported us by either buying a raffle ticket, sponsoring the Lake Burrendong Easter Fishing Classic, and last but not least, the volunteer committee. Those people who have given thousands of hours beside me over this decade and a half. Without you, we wouldn't be here today. Thanks.
Thank you. Congratulations again to those award winners, and it's great to see the quality of people we have in Dubbo. One of the great pleasures you get as mayor is you get to sit on and keep your mouth closed the Australia Day committee, where we get to see all those nominations come through, and you saw the quality of the people who won those awards. Well, that quality is multiplied by 50 for all the different people that are nominated for those awards. So the committee has a very tough decision deciding on those. So very exciting. This is the other exciting part of Australia Day. We get to make some fellow people in our community Aussie citizens. Now, there are a couple of parts I do have to read here to make this a legal process. Australian citizenship represents full and formal membership of the community of the Commonwealth of Australia. And Australian citizenship is a common bond involving reciprocal rights and obligations uniting all Australians while respecting their diversity. Persons on whom Australian citizenship is conferred enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations by pledging loyalty to Australia and its people, by sharing their democratic rights, and by respecting their rights and liberties, and by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. The Minister has also sent through a message that he requests to be read at a citizenship ceremony. Today, you become an Australian citizen. We are immensely proud of what we have achieved as a nation, and we welcome you in joining us. Our history and culture has been forged over thousands of years, first through Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and more recently with people from all corners of the earth. Australia has succeeded as a nation by embracing and defending our national values. We believe in freedom and dignity of each individual, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and freedom of association. We value the rule of law, democracy, and equality of opportunity for all people. We stand with other democracies in helping to defend and protect these hard-fought freedoms. We are a resilient nation. Drought, bushfires, floods, and a global pandemic have challenged our normal way of life. Our social cohesion, a key strength of Australia, has never been more important. Upon taking the pledge of commitment today, I call on you to embrace these values and the rights and responsibilities of Australian citizenship and play an active part in your local communities to build an even stronger nation. On behalf of the Australian Government, I congratulate you on reaching this very special day. the Honourable Alex Hawke MP, Minister for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs. Please join me in reading the oath. From this time forward, under God, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I will uphold and obey. Thank you. Congratulations. Round of applause for the new citizens. From this time forward, I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I will uphold and obey. Congratulations, we now have 2 more new Australian citizens. Please stay there, and I'd like to ask my fellow councillors, Lewis Burns, Pam Wells, Josh Black, Vicky Etheridge, Jess Goff and Shibli Chowdhury to come along and give out some little presents to welcome people to Australia. Thank you. One of the things I particularly enjoy about the new citizenship is go and grab some of those people and ask them about their journey, because everyone's got an interesting journey, and how they ended up here in this nation and here in this city in this nation is always interesting. There's a different path they've travelled, but most importantly, congratulate them and welcome into this wonderful nation. Thank you. So we're almost at the end now. Wonderful to see the new citizens, wonderful to see those award winners. We've got a best or 2 best dressed awards to give out now. I'm not sure if you were aware that you've been judged on your dress for the day, and I've got 2 award winners of those. I'll just find out where they are. So the best dressed family, and we've got some incredibly expensive prizes up the front here to come and collect, is the Hocking family. So well, congratulations to them for best dress for the day, and they do look fantastic as well. Okay, and the best dressed award, not the best dressed family, I'll just let them have some photos taken there. The best dressed award, it was too hard to split the awards, so we've blown the budget completely and we're handing out 2 awards for the best dressed. We've got Barbara and Shirley. Please come forward as the best dressed for the day. So just while Barbara and Shirley are coming forward there, just like to remind you of some of the activities that are going on from here. At 10:30 a.m. at Sir Roden Cutler Park, there is a Survival Day event. So if you'd like to go along and be a part of that, I know Pam and Lewis will be going along and being a part of that, and that's part of that whole unification. I think it's important that we recognise that people do different things on this day. We've also got a range of activities there. The pool will be opened from 10 o'clock, or basically from now. Free entry there for the next 2 hours. Okay, here's Barbara and Shirley coming forward. Well done, Barbara and Shirley. Looking fantastic. Come around behind the cake and have a photo behind the cake. Putting the rest of us to shame. Where's my Aussie bling? So yes, we've got the activities still going on here. We've got some performances. We've got exhibitions going on. So this is coming to the end, but don't feel like you've got to go home. We've got lots of activities here. Again, you've got some of those new citizens to talk to. I know Lindy's going to hang around and talk to anyone that wants to come and talk to her. You've got some of these new councillors. You might want to talk to them about some different issues that you might come forward, or some of the past councillors, past mayors, past deputy mayors here, past member for Dubbo. It's great to see some of those people come along and be part of what is, I think, a fantastic community event. But also I'd like to thank council staff. I mean, some of the council staff who organised this event rest of us enjoy a day off on Australia Day. There's some of the council staff that have been working on Australia Day since probably 5 o'clock this morning for the last 10 or 15 years. So there's a lot of work done by the entire team, the events team, the livability, the infrastructure team. There's many staff. Susan, obviously, thank you for doing a great job once again as MC. How many years have you done this for now? 13 years. So Susan hasn't had a day off on Australia Day for 13 years. We all like the idea of Australia Day to have a day off. Thank you for all of those staff, the Lana from the events team getting things organised, all the band members, all the different events you see around here. Obviously all this takes a lot of time to bring together. So a big round of applause please for all those people behind the scenes that have made this day a wonderful event. And as I said before, please when you go forward through today, just be proud to be Australian because it's a pretty good nation to be a part of. Thank you. We'll see you next year.